Daniel Jones? Yeah, that Daniel Jones. The guy everyone clowned on. The guy who was called the worst first-round pick in years. The guy who was booed before he even touched an NFL field. And yet, here we are. Daniel Jones is quietly, or not so quietly, proving everyone wrong. Today, we're breaking down exactly how Jones went from being the league's biggest lead to one of the most resilient comeback stories in modern NFL history. We'll dive into his rough beginnings, the chaos surrounding the Giants organization, his silent transformation, and what it all means for his future in the leagues. So grab your snacks, Giants fans. This one's going to hit different. Chapter 1, the mockery of draft night. Let's rewind to 2019. The Giants are on the clock with the 6th overall pick. The crowd is buzzing. Everyone's expecting Dwayne Haskins, maybe even a defensive beast. But then, with the 6th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Daniel Jones, quarterback Duke. The entire football world lost it. Memes flooded Twitter. Analysts called it the worst pick in franchise history. Fans booed in disbelief. Even Giants legends were speechless. Daniel Jones wasn't just a surprise. He was a punchline. Narrator, mocking tone. Daniel Jones? From Duke, the 6th overall pick. But here's the thing nobody wanted to admit. The Giants saw something the rest of us didn't. Because even though Duke isn't exactly an NFL quarterback factory, Jones had traits that reminded scouts of Eli Manning. His calmness under pressure, his accuracy, and his work ethic. And who was one of his mentors at Duke? David Cutcliffe, the same coach who mentored Eli and Peyton Manning. The Giants were betting on pedigree, character, and potential, not flash. Still, that didn't stop the ridicule. Jones had to walk into the NFL already branded a bust. Chapter 2, the rough beginning. His rookie year? Honestly, chaotic. He had flashes of brilliance. Remember that legendary debut game against the Buccaneers when he led an 18-point comeback and scored the game-winning rushing touchdown? Giants fans were suddenly calling him Danny Dimes. For a brief moment, it looked like he was the savior. But football is cruel. In New York, even crueler. The Giants were a mess. New head coach every other year. Constant O-line struggles. Receivers in and out due to injuries. Saquon Barkley, the team's superstar, went down with a torn ACL. And Jones? He was left to survive behind a collapsing line, trying to make something out of nothing. Turnovers piled up, his confidence dipped, and the media circled like sharks. People started calling him Danny Fumbles. Every mistake was magnified. Every loss was blamed on him. Narrator, reflective tone. But this is where the story starts to shift. Because instead of breaking, Jones adapted. Chapter 3, the silent grind. Here's the part that people don't talk about enough. While the internet laughed, Daniel Jones worked. He didn't lash out at reporters. He didn't make excuses. He trained. He studied. He rebuilt his throwing mechanics. He studied tape like a machine. Teammates began talking about how serious he was, how he'd be the first one in, last one out, every day. Even when fans wanted him gone, his locker room didn't. They respected his grind. When Brian Daboll arrived in 2022, everything changed. For the first time, Jones had a coach who believed in him, and more importantly, built a system around him. Daboll simplified the offense, designed plays that used Jones' legs, and gave him the confidence to take risks again. The result? A career-best season. 15 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions, over 700 rushing yards, and most importantly, a playoff win. Yeah, Daniel Jones led the New York Giants to a playoff victory. That sentence alone silenced a lot of critics. Chapter 4, the redemption arc. Let's pause for a second. Think about where Daniel Jones was in 2020. Constantly mocked, compared unfavorably to draft peers like Kyler Murray, and written off as another Eli clone who can't win. Now fast forward to 2023. He's not flashy. He's not loud, but he's efficient, composed, and clutch when it counts. You can tell he's earned the respect of his teammates. They call him tough. They call him a leader. Remember that brutal hit he took against Green Bay? He left the field bleeding, then came back in the next drive. The crowd went nuts. That's when fans realized, this guy's different. He might not talk much, but he's a fighter. And let's be real, isn't that the kind of quarterback New York always ends up loving? Not the loud ones, but the ones who survive the chaos and still deliver. Chapter 5, The Critics Strike Again. Of course, it wouldn't be New York football without more drama. After signing his 4-year, $160 million deal, the media exploded. Overpaid, not worth it, he's just average. Everyone was waiting for him to fail again. Then came the injuries, the O-line issues, and the losses, and right on cue, the critics resurfaced. But here's the twist. This time, the fans didn't turn on him, because now, they'd seen what he could do when given the right system. They knew this wasn't about him being bad. It was about him being under siege. Literally, the man was sacked more times than some quarterbacks through touchdowns. And yet, he still never blamed anyone else. That kind of composure under fire, that's leadership. Chapter 6, the comeback we didn't see coming. As the 2024 season began, Jones came back stronger, physically and mentally. He bulked up, worked on his quick release, and his chemistry with new receivers looked sharper than ever. The Giants finally invested in talent around him, and it showed. Chapter 7, the lesson in resilience. There's something bigger here than just football. Daniel Jones' story is a lesson in perseverance, in tuning out the noise, staying grounded, and proving people wrong the right way. He didn't post rants. He didn't talk trash. He just showed up again and again until people had no choice but to respect him. And in a world where so many athletes get broken by criticism, Jones used it as fuel. You can't teach that. Chapter 8. What's next for Daniel Jones? So here's the million-dollar question. Can Daniel Jones actually take the Giants to the next level? Because let's be honest, the NFC East is no joke. You've got Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, and Washington trying to rebuild into something dangerous. If Jones continues this upward trajectory with a healthy Saquon or his replacement and a steady O-line, there's no reason this team can't make another playoff run. And if he does that again, if he beats those odds twice, then Daniel Jones' story goes from overlooked to legendary. What do you think? Is Daniel Jones truly the future of the Giants? Or just another chapter in their rebuild? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Because one thing's for sure, this guy isn't done proving people wrong. Closing thoughts. So maybe Daniel Jones will never be Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. Maybe he'll never throw 50 touchdowns a season. But what he is something every fan should appreciate. He's the guy who refused to quit, the one who turned mockery into motivation, and the one who showed that sometimes the quietest players make the loudest statements. Narrator, inspirational tone, an elite built on highlight reels and headlines. Daniel Jones' greatest highlight might just be his resilience. So next time someone calls him overrated, remember, the last laugh belongs to Daniel Jones.